Hi everybody, how's everyone doing? Sorry, I had to restart it because I was having technical difficulties with my phone. And yep. Hi everybody. Hi. I'm doing good.
Welcome all back to Fallout Pod.
Give me a moment, guys. Sorry about this. Sorry about this. Hi everybody. Well, I mean, that's your opinion. I mean, I think Kamala is a first-grade idiot. I actually think she's dumber than a box of Missouri rocks, but that's an insult to Missouri rocks. Well, I mean, she was running for president. This person could have been the president. But okay. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. I voted. What do you mean coulda, woulda, shoulda? I voted. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's what makes America the best place on earth.
Once the trap is expended, on the porch we find some dirty wire, a lunchbox, and a duffel bag. There is also a tripwire just outside the door leading back inside. So we have to be careful if you approach from either location. Back inside the manor, you can move south through a door back into the entryway with the staircase, but instead of going up, you can turn immediately east. Here we find a hallway leading to a large room with more storage. Sleeping inside, you can try to snipe some.
I'm good, how are you? No problem.
Artificial intelligence is all the rage these days. That's why I had AI when I didn't have woman. But this done happen. I love you, Chuck Thunder. Really do. You want to internet your love? It's not in a weird way. Visit TotalPlace.com and order today. Next Mission Impossible. No, it's in a candy store right now. Right here. Let's go. Let's go, baby. We gotta slow down. Bunch of little Tom Cruise over here. Hey, this is a practice set. There's a lot of people who are looking at me coming at you pretty hard. Whenever you want to get my top away. Let's get it.
Are you pro 2A? What's 2A? Oh, Second Amendment. Let me, where's my volume at? Oh, it's right here. So, to be honest here, pause. I don't really, so I have, epilepsy. I have ADD and epilepsy. It's probably not a smart idea for me to shoot a gun. But like, you know, if people are being my only thing is that people aren't, you have people who aren't being responsible. Like I have, but like, I don't really know much, to be honest here. Like, I don't get into the whole gun debate most of the time because I don't have all the information. And it's not something that I do normally. Do I think people should just be taking guns away? No, I don't. But like, I don't. I think that there's a lot of like people who get guns, who there's evidence that they have like some severe mental problem, and then they go and they do something, like shoot up a school or something like that, and then people are like, why did the mentally disturbed person do that? And it's like, they're mentally disturbed. So like, I just know that like, mental health, I don't know where you're from, but I'm from America, and I do think mental health needs to be taken more seriously. And while I'm not saying that people's guns should be taken away, I think there should be something that happens. But I am I think people should be allowed to defend themselves. It's a long way of saying, I don't know. There's a lot of things that I'm just not. Awesome, I found it right away. Yeah, I think that like there's just a lot of like, there's a lot of people who think that I think that both sides don't want to figure this problem out, because it's such an they're so extreme about it. Like one side's like, no, you're never taking my gun away, and then the other side's like, no, we are. And it's like, you're never going to solve the problem by just being like, nobody wants their shit taken away until people like, and so get that through their head, nobody wants their stuff taken away. And it's important to, that's fair, I'm pro. I am, but I just don't use it. Like for instance, with the Columbine shooting, like if I like to look up like why those things happen. Yeah, I agree. I think that it would be important to find common ground. Like one thing that annoys me is that people, specifically, sorry, conservatives, but like there are conservatives who are like, well, we don't want schools to be walled off, but it's like at the same time, like you guys won't figure out who's mentally disturbed and who's not. I'm not saying if it's the Congress people's job to find out who's mentally disturbed, but I'm saying is that like, I don't know how you would, figure out if who has mental illness problems or not. That's above my pay grade, if I'm being real here. I can't solve that problem, but like, it's like I think teachers should be allowed to conceal and carry. I do too. I think that would be, I think that I do, I think it's sad though that they have to. I think it's sad that that teachers should have to do that. In the school that I'm at, we have officers there, and most of the problem, it wasn't guns. It was weed, because weed was still, I mean, like weed shouldn't be people shouldn't be bringing weed into school anyway, but it was weed, if you get what I'm saying. But we had officers there, and every now and again you'd see officers would have their dogs sniffing for the weed, but it wouldn't be it wasn't because of guns. But yeah, I think there's a lot of that includes mental health care. Well, you see, the problem space, I'm probably gonna say frog, is that people don't, people are ashamed of having mental illnesses. Like you can provide mental health care all you want to, but like it's a social problem, not a not a space frog. Space frog. Okay. It's a social problem. Now mental aware it's an awareness problem also. And so when it's a social problem and an awareness problem, and people need to be more aware about there are people with mental problems. And so I think I agree with you about the healthcare thing, but I also think that, you know, they're not gonna. I think that they should have it, but companies won't probably do it because it's gonna cost a lot of money, or whatever the case is. And when people aren't gonna use your product, they probably won't. They probably won't do it. But I think they should. I don't know if it should be free or not. I don't know. You know. I just know that, like for example, was Dylan, out of the two people who, with the Columbine case, that had all those problems. I'm not saying that this justifies it. I'm not saying that, like, I'm saying is that, like, this guy had a lot of mental health problems. It's that I don't know how and anybody who wants to chime in can chime in and tell me this. I just kind of think that, like, the mom of the, I mean, like, she has the right to talk. I mean, she's not the one that did it, but, like, at the same time, like, I'm just like, I forgot what all that she said. I'll look it up right now. Hi. I'm going to look it up right now. I talk about politics, and I actually just talk, really mostly, I crochet and I talk to people, and people talk about whatever they want to talk about. I talk about I'm a conservative. I mean, if you don't like that, that's okay. But, I live in Missouri. You're in Illinois? I like what's going on with Doge because like nobody's ever asked what do I think should happen. Like everybody always thinks that they know better, you know. And so like I kind of find it interesting. Okay, there we go. And I wanted them to go more further into the into the Department of Labor because I work at a workshop for people with disabilities, and Dole has been was going after us, trying to phase out workshops, and they lost. So I wish they had gone harder on the Department of Labor. And I'm kind of under the belief that if people are upset about it, like they must be gaining something from it. Because like it's an from what my boss told me, it's an audit. Like every business, like the workshop that I work at, has to go through an audit. Everybody, like most companies, go through an audit. Why shouldn't the government go through an audit? What makes them so special that they shouldn't be held to the same standard that you and I are? I mean, like, could you imagine if you ran a business like the government runs, like they've been running, where they just go through money like it's water? Could you imagine what would happen if you or I or anybody else did that crap? We'd have like somebody knocking on our door. I think that I think it's kind of the things that they found were crazy. What's your opinion about it? Okay, so I'm not gonna do TED Talk because the hell I'm doing TED Talk because TED Talk will just get my chat. I'll get a strike, or not a community strike necessarily, but a not a good thing. You're worried. Okay, so well, they did say that if jobs were being removed that that they might need, that they would eventually that they would get their jobs back. But like, I mean, U.S. Aid, and anybody, if I'm saying something wrong, just politely in the comment section. But U.S. Aid was like spending tons of money. Was spending tons of money like on like a Sesame Street show, like in other countries, like. But I understand where you're coming from. Fun fact, the Biden administration tried to remove my job, tried to remove workshops. The Biden administration tried to remove 150,000 jobs just because we don't get paid a minimum wage. Like, so they're like, well, we don't see your job as valuable. So I do know what it's like to be afraid of people trying to lose my job. Thank you. So I kind of, but I understand it. I work at a workshop for people with disabilities. If I'm going to connect to the channels so that you'll be able to see them. But I'm super excited because so there's a ignore the stain but there's a craft fair that I'm going to be doing. I know this is like a long ways away, but it's on October. That's dirt. As I work outside right now. It's October 10th and 11th in 2025. And I'm going to be I'm working on these, right now I'm working on Super Bowl warmers. So these ones, you can't stick these ones in the microwave. You put you put the bowl in after it's gone through the microwave. And the tail's gonna be fixed, but This is one of my hobbies, is crocheting. I like to garden also. She sells hats. She sells hats. Well, I don't know. I mean, I make my stuff. There's a lot of I don't know if there's a really good study out there, but so people who have autism spectrum disorder, like like I have like we like routines and patterns and stuff, and crocheting has they have like patterns to them. Like, for example, like if you're making a round object, like it's gonna be the same thing. Like if you were making a head on a stuffed animal, then it would be the same as making this bowl. I wasn't a really big fan of Etsy. I tried signing up for Etsy, and I just wasn't a really big fan of they were like, how much does your what color combinations do you use and stuff like that. Hats by Abby. That's her. Okay. And knitting is actually more complicated than crocheting is. I've never knitted before. I only crochet. And I make like stuffed animals. I make these soup bowl cozy warmer things. Etsy, it's a site that you can sell craft projects on. Etsy, ETSY. I think that's what it's called. And it's a site where you can like sell your like not just craft not just like crochet projects, but like jewelry, like anything that you make like that's a craft project, you can sell it on there. But I haven't heard really good things like from it. I heard that I heard they were like I heard at some point they were like freezing people's accounts because like they were saying that they weren't, and I don't know if this is really true or not, so like don't just take my word for it. But like But I heard that they were like freezing people's accounts on Etsy for because they weren't real homemade items. But then at the same time, have you ever watched these YouTube videos where like they have some they have this person who just like takes like these little suitcase things and puts like a bracelet that looks like you got it off of Temu or wherever, and then just like throws a bunch of crap in there, and that's supposed to be a homemade object. Like, I'm not, well, like, this isn't hard for me now because I've learned to crochet, and I've done this since 2016. But like, in the beginning it was challenging. Um, oh, okay. Auti- um, uh, Autism Speaks sucks, by the way. Autism Speaks is the worst organization for people with who want to support people with autism. Oh, crocheting is, yeah. I sell my items also. That's why I'm getting ready in October to do that craft fair. And it's also fun for me. What do you mean? Why are they bad? Oh, why is Autism Speaks bad? Because they don't real. I don't like how. So, for example, Autism Speaks and a few other organizations called out workshops for people with disabilities, and they said, if you're a guardian, if you're, I wish I kept the paper. I want that negative junk in my life, though. They said if you're a person with autism, a guardian, and an employee. Oh, it is relaxing. Um, they call it people who are not, who think workshops are a good place for people to work at, ignorant and uninformed. And I'm like, hi.
She was obstructed by her own lack of insight. She was also dealing with a tremendous amount of grief. She lost a child in this tragedy as well. Through her response to public opinion, she was denied permission to mourn for Dylan. Every time she felt grief, it was reflected back on her, as if to rebuke her with the
question, how dare you be
Hi.
sorry for a killer? This created a vicious cycle of ambivalent feelings. If she had feelings of grief, she was bad. If she didn't have feelings of grief, she was still bad. Ultimately, I think Sue bore as much responsibility as she could handle. Now moving to my final thoughts. The behavior of Sue Biggle presents questions that are difficult to answer. Before the attack, was she good or was she bad? After the attack, was she helpful or unhelpful? I think the truth is that Sue can be all these things.
But I don't think I'm a super conservative, but like, my metronome? I don't know. What do you mean metronome? Can you tell me what that is? Because I don't know what that is. Why is my what? My metronome going so fast? Oh, I don't have any control over the fan. I'm sorry. Because so I live with my mom and dad. The fan is on because the fan is on. It's the air conditioning. Just, if it's annoying, I'm sorry. I tried to turn the volume up so that people wouldn't hear it. Here, I'll shut the thing and see if that. A metronome makes clicking sounds. I don't know what's making a clicking sound. I mean, it's not the crochet hooks. It's not, oh, I don't know what it is then. I mean, unless our boy Lou over here has, really good hearing and can hear this, I mean. I can't imagine that this is really loud though. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's alright. I'm sure that they don't really, I don't know.
Awesome sauce.
Awesome. Anyway, I got Reese's. Who's ever tried these Reese's peanut butter pie cups? Those are good. They got graham crackers in them. I'll put these in here. Bam. You just had the regular peanut butter cups? I want to try the peanut butter and jelly ones. Somebody's like, those are delicious. My dad likes the pretzel ones. Yeah, the peanut butter and jelly ones are new. They have strawberry and grape. Yeah, they have strawberry and grape ones. I think it's Hershey. Yeah, it's Hershey Kisses. Hershey Kisses has a sugar cookie one in during Christmas time. So, what kind of things do I do in the workshop? So, I have, right now, it's one of my days off, and then, because I work in the garden center right now, which means I sell plants and stuff, and I water plants, and I help customers out. But, when I'm not doing that, I help clean residents' rooms. I have a YouTube channel that shows me watering plants, and I have some interviews and stuff like that that I have done with people there. It's kind of hard to do interviews though, like I'm my own legal guardian, but there are people there that are not their own legal guardians, and you can't just you have to get their permission to be able to do interviews with people who aren't their own legal guardians. But it's a lot of packaging. They package stuff like we package reels. I don't package reels, but we do shredding. Which means we shred like important documents. We recycle cardboard. We also, so we have this event. It's not a gun event, but it's called the Shootout. Have you ever heard of it? It's where they have it's where people go on the lake, because we live at the Lake of the Ozarks, and they have these really fast cigar boats, and it's bragging rights, but we volunteer there. It's a lot of work. We do a lot. It's a lot of work, but we have a lot of fun when we do them, and it's nice. There's a lot of other jobs. I'm one of 50-something people that works at LAI. It's a good job to have. What state do you live in? by the way, what state, if you, do you live, what state do you live in? We don't get to, well, yeah, we do, because, we write, ride, on, whenever they do Make-A-Wish boat rides, they allow us to come and ride the boats, too. It is fun, but the boats go really fast. You're from Kentucky? Does Kentucky still have the 14C certification for workshops?
I found this on the web.
I'll look it up later. There's some states that have removed the 14C certification. Not that it's your fault. It's not your fault, but like it's the state's fault for removing it. And then you know what the difference between Missouri and a lot of states is Missouri isn't based on medical, it's based on, I forgot what my boss said, but it's different. Our state does it differently. And so we get different benefits or whatever it's called, I'm not sure, but we had to really fight really hard to keep our workshops available and open. And really, we shouldn't have to fight to keep our workshops open because they should be, like, you know, just, we're trying to do a job and, like, you know, I'm a very big advocate for shelter for people having a choice. What do you do, if I can ask? What do you do, Space Frog, for a living? That's neat. Yeah, there's always more you can do. I advocate. You're retired? How old are you? Sorry for asking. It's probably not a nice thing to ask. My mom and dad are teachers. Well, see everybody later. Bye.